this is Jessica with Dining Traveler and bienvenidos a mi cocina. Welcome to my kitchen. This is episode 3 of the Dining Traveler cooking series. We're spending more time at home. Actually, we should all be at home and not traveling. So we're trying some of our favorite dishes from around the world. And this time we go to Peru. And that's the place I had dreamt about going for years, and I finally had the opportunity to go 2 years ago. But before that, I was traveling to Peru via food. Many years ago, I met a good friend of mine, Jimmy. He's from Lima. We met in Brussels, and he taught me how to make several Peruvian dishes. But one of my favorites and favorite to make is causa, and it's a delicious potato cake with a spicy masa of potato and filled pretty much with anything you want. But for this episode, we're gonna make 2 different versions. We're gonna make one with tuna, and then we're gonna make one with chicken. But you can put vegetables in it, you can do octopus, you can do other types of fish. So use your imagination. So follow me and let's get this started. So I have the potatoes cooking, and one of the things that I do, I put the timer for 15 minutes just to make sure that if I'm distracted looking at my phone, doing some prep work, I don't forget that there are potatoes cooking or anything cooking for that matter. But once it's like around 10 minutes, I do a quick test and I pick out a piece of potato and I do just like a quick mash with a fork just to make sure that it's on the right direction. Sometimes depending on how small you cut them, sometimes it's too small, sometimes it's too big. So I use 15 minutes as a guideline, but it can take a little bit more, a little bit less. So the mash test with the fork is a good tip. So I strained the potatoes and I'm just gonna put them to the side here for like 10-15 minutes for them to cool down a little bit more, because when you're handling the potatoes, you can get kind of hot, hands, bad idea. So while this cools down, I'm gonna start making the fillings. So the good thing about causa is that I think that the potato is like the set recipe, but all the fillings and stuff like that you can do at your own. You can make it vegan, you can make it vegetarian, you can make it pescatarian. Today we're gonna do chicken and tuna, and I also like that there's different ways that you can do the presentation. So the tomatoes in this recipe, they say to put them inside, and I actually like to cut them and put them on top like a garnish. So with the avocado, you want to cut them very thinly because we're going to layer them. Make sure, be very careful that you don't get yourself hurt with a sharp knife. And then you're going to scoop it out with a spoon. And just make sure that you get in there very deep so it doesn't happen. It's happened to me several times that you leave a chunk on the peel and it's just not fun. So really go in there and get it out. So as we mentioned before, we're gonna do 2 toppings, one with chicken and the other one with tuna fish. So we're gonna start now with the chicken. So it's a very basic chicken salad. And again, use your imagination. You can even add some celery, some other ingredients, whatever it is that you prefer to give it that little crunch, but we're just gonna use, to keep it simple, mayonnaise, obviously chicken, red onion, a little salt, a little pepper, just a little bit of olive oil just to make sure that it all comes together. This is just tuna packed in water. I prefer it than the one packed in oil. It's less gloopy. So we're gonna do the tuna salad. Like I said, I prefer it in water instead of oil. It just has like a nicer consistency. And we're gonna add the rest of the mayonnaise. I usually start with around half a cup, and the rest of the red onions. I'll add a little salt and a little pepper. So now we're gonna squeeze the lime. So this is one of the key ingredients. It just gives it such an amazing flavor. And the recipe says 6 limes, and that usually yields between a half cup and 2/3 of a cup. If you don't like that strong acid flavor, maybe hold back a little bit. So I usually do between a half a cup and 2/3. So now we're gonna mash the potatoes and avoid the urge to use a food processor, because I always use a food processor, because what's gonna happen is that the potato is gonna get, the masa is gonna get too thin to be able to assemble it. So we're just gonna use a potato masher. If you have a potato ricer at home, even better, but any type of potato masher will do. So now we're gonna put the oil and the lime juice and the ají amarillo. And the ají amarillo, if you don't like a lot of spicy, just don't put the whole amount in. Just you can put 1/3 of a cup or 1/4 of a cup, because it's obviously it's much easier to add more if it's not spicy enough than to get the spice out. So now we're gonna mash it so we can make it into a nice masa. And then just want to give you a tip. So right now we're just using regular white potatoes, just because I couldn't find any yellow potatoes. The papa amarilla is the one that they use in Peru for causa. I heard that you can find it in some Latin American supermarkets. I wasn't able to find it when I was shopping, but you can find it in the frozen department. You get your workout, but you know what? It's all worth it. Now we're moving to the assembly portion. The way we're gonna do the causa today is individual size, more for a starter, but you can do it as tiny as these cute little balls as hors d'oeuvres, or as big and heavy family size causa. So I'm using a biscuit cutter, a pretty deep one, so I can make like the nice round individual shaped causas. But again, you can just use a big mold and layer it all together, especially if you're having a big family gathering and you don't have time to make them individually, that's fine too. You can decorate it however you like. I like to put little olive, tomato, it just makes it look so colorful and cute, and some cilantro on top. I call my friend Jimmy Songa is what we call him, and he's from Lima. We met in Brussels. Now he lives in Amsterdam because he's an international man of mystery. And Jimmy introduced me to causa. This must have been like in 2009 or something like this. Like, yeah, like 11 years ago. So that you taught me how to make causa, and it's become one of my favorite Peruvian dishes. And we're going to switch to Spanish now porque es mejor, o sea, comunicarnos de esta manera. Pero lo que estaba también diciendo es que la causa es bien versátil, ¿no? Que es algo que no tiene una receta así, la masa como tal, pues tiene la receta fija, pero se puede rellenar de cualquier cosa, ¿no? ¿Cuáles son, por ejemplo, para ustedes? Porque tu pareja es vegetariano, así que ustedes lo hacen de distintas maneras, ¿no?
Es vegetariano, pero come pescado, así que cuando preparo causa, para él es más con tuna, con atún.
Con atún, que es lo que estamos haciendo ahora. Y para aquellos que también, y también para aquellos que son vegetarianos o veganos, se puede hacer, me habías comentado, una mezcla de...
Generalmente le puedes meter zanahoria, alberjas, lo que es coliflor, todo eso, picarlo y meterlo con mayonesa.
Sí, y también hay diferentes formas en que se puede preparar y decorar, o sea, esto lo estamos haciendo en tamaños individuales, pero para aquellos que pues que tienen una familia más grande y no hay tiempo para hacer todo esto, también se puede hacer en un molde.
Una fuente.
En una fuente grande y de ahí cortarlo en rectángulos y servirlos de esa manera también. No muy elegante, pero también brega, sí. Y lo importante...
Es lo que se hace
sí.
generalmente para las fiestas. O sea, en Perú, familia grande, 10, 12 personas.
Claro, y lo más...
Hasta para 12 y más.
Y lo más importante es el sabor, que eso es
Exacto.
es lo que va. Bueno, gracias un montón, Jimmy. Te extraño un montón y espero pues que...
Espero verte pronto.
Sí, te voy a traer todas estas cosas que encontré en la tienda hispana, porque ya en Ámsterdam no se encuentra nada. Ok, un besito, nos vemos. Chao. Bye. So this is how I make my causa rellena. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any tips or questions, please leave it in the comments. And now I am going to indulge. Buen provecho.